welcome everybody to the Genshin Impact. Oh, hang on, no, the Magic Beans podcast. We are back again for episode number 59. And as you can see with our quality intro, tonight's going to be a casual night tonight, and I have just a couple of beans on the line of me. So we have Cracker. How's it going, mate?
Good. Do I need to go get my daughter?
She yes,
plays
and
Genshin.
I'll go and get mine. All right. Yeah, and we also have Chewy. How's it going, mate?
I'm good. I've got the youngest daughter who seems to play the most grown-up games in comparison. So, yeah, I don't know whether I'm doing something right or terribly wrong, but...
I mean, we do a podcast for a kids' card game, so I don't think age restrictions and age recommendations on games that we play are really probably all that relevant anymore these days.
There are people older than us that are into My Little Pony, so who are we to judge?
Exactly. You're talking about Scott, aren't you?
How are you, Blaster Boy? Hope you're well.
Love some My Little Pony. All right, so tonight is going to be a bit of a casual night. Actually, we're at the end of the year. It's the 17th of December, and there's things to talk about. But this is probably going to be our last episode that we're recording this year. So yeah, we thought we'd keep it a little bit lighthearted, talk about some of the new cards, and just general whatever from the year, and see how we go. So before we get into that, Chewy, do you want to tell us about our awesome sponsors?
I love talking about our sponsor because they're awesome. So Josh and Pat's MTG Bazaar are the official sponsor of the Magic Beans podcast. They allow us to do everything that we do, so really appreciate their support. You can support us by supporting them by jumping onto the Josh and Pat's Facebook page and giving them a like, and they have nightly auctions on physical Magic cards. Multiple lots every night, some excellent bargains to be had, and also some pretty shiny premium auctions on the weekends. They've got a full-time auctioneer, so everything runs really smoothly and gets shipped to you really quickly. So look up Josh and Pat's MTG Bazaar on Facebook and tell them that the Beans sent you.
Yeah, and don't forget they are currently running their massive Commander Legends giveaway. Pat's gone a little bit crazy and has put 6 Commander Legends boxes up for grabs, so all you've got to do is be in the group yourself. So if you're not in there, join it and get into the group. But once you're in the group, you just need to invite a friend, have them join the group, and then comment on the giveaway post that you'll find pinned on the group. So I think that's running right up till the end of the year. And yeah, that's 6 Commander Legend boxes up for grabs, which is pretty crazy.
That's insane. Yeah.
That's like $1,000 of cards. I don't know. That's a lot of stuff. So,
if you can get them, they're just super hard to get at the moment as well.
Yeah. Yep.
Pat's got connections. He'll make it happen.
Absolutely. All right. So, yeah, we might start off by having a look at some of the new preview cards. So, we know that there's a new set coming out, Kaldheim. We've known the name of it for quite a while. We know the name of the most of, or actually all of the sets that are coming out next year, all the standard sets at least. And yeah, the first one that will be released on the 5th of February is Kaldheim. And Wizards kind of came out a little while ago and said it was going to be a metal themed set, which we didn't quite know exactly what that meant. But we saw recently the Secret Lair metal. What was the tagline for that one? Shred hard or something like that. But they were some very interesting art on those, so sort of gave us a little bit of a preview. But yeah, this week they came out and actually started the preview season, and they've done something kind of cool. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to watch them, but they've teamed up with a bunch of metal bands from all around the world. One of them I've heard of before, the rest of them I hadn't. And they've got these metal bands to do a little promo where they talk about who they are and whatever, and then preview one of the new cards. So have you guys seen those?
Yeah, man. Yeah, don't like them.
Don't like them? Okay.
No. I think it's the concept's okay, but to me it feels a little bit. I don't know. I don't want to go on a rant, but it feels a little bit disingenuous that a whole bunch of bands that have never heard of Magic are being paid to promote it. I just don't love it. I get what it's trying to do, but I think they've missed the mark a little bit. And there's a whole bunch of content creators that have been, building the audience and we are way small fish. This doesn't affect us at all. So this isn't me having a whinge about the effect it has on our platform because we're not big enough to get preview cards. But there are a bunch of content creators out there that have been quote unquote paid in
exposure.
Exposure, that's what I'm looking for. Yep. Paid in exposure to promote a product that doesn't, and it's free for Wizards to do. So they've got this community of content creators out there, and they give them the privilege of promoting one of their cards for a new set and no remuneration for it. And then they can go and, contact a band's management and pay a band to talk about something that they've got no idea about. It just feels really disingenuous to me. I'm not a fan of it. I like the concept of it, but given that they've refused to pay content creators in the past, feels like a bit of a cop-out to me.
Rebuttal. That is how marketing works. Yeah. Bad news, everybody. I'm really sorry, but if you want your brand out there and you pay people that are high profile, right, that are not even necessarily have any idea. Do you think Danny Trejo actually knows about Gigantosaurus and what that card does? Do you think he did that for free?
No.
Exactly. So this is not new.
No.
They've picked bands that have got like songs that are like Viking heritage, like Mastodon and some of the other ones, right? So look, I'm not a big metalhead. Some of their stuff is cool or not.
One dude from Mastodon has Viking heritage. None of the South American guys have Viking heritage.
That's fine. I'm not saying they all do, but I mean, if like a bunch of Mastodon songs are in that vein, though, right? Like they do sing about Vikings and warriors.
I'm saying
and that sort of
that
okay, so
what
Chewy,
they're trying to do has merit. The execution is what I have an issue with.
What is the problem with the execution?
That they have. So there is people out there that have higher profiles in the Magic community than bands that Shorty's heard of one band out of all the ones, right?
Yep.
That will be a huge proportion of the Magic community who are like, oh yeah, I think I've heard of that band. There's metalheads in the thing, absolutely.
They're not trying to reach the Magic community.
Yeah, they're not targeting the Magic community. They're trying to broaden the Magic community by targeting people who are not in the Magic community but are into metal and go, oh, I'm into metal. I really like this band. Oh, hang on, this band's promoting this thing called Magic. Hang on,
and
they've got a set that's about Magic.
The whole bunch of those bands' fan base are like, what are these sellouts? Like commercial selling a product they've never heard of. Like it goes against everything that's metal. Like it's just
how would that band or how would the fans of that band think if they got a sponsorship by Red Bull or Coke or any other company that's not related to them at all and they promoted them? It's no different. That's just advertising. That's what you do.
It's literally like complaining that someone has put up an ad on Facebook for like Magic cards.
It's like the old people we get that complain when we do a sponsored thing on Facebook.
Which is pretty funny. I get what you're saying, Chewy. Classic. Like, I do.
It's disingenuous. And as I said...
It's not. I don't see how it's disingenuous.
You're picking up on one very small part of what I said. I think the concept is good.
Right.
I think the execution is poor given the history.
I'm trying to understand how the execution is poor. They have chosen an outlet to spend their marketing budget on. That marketing budget has gone towards bands that they think are tied to this, and they're trying to take a different angle rather than traditional advertising avenues.
Yeah. You pay some content creators. You go, okay, let's pay MTG Goldfish to promote this metal thing because, Saffron Olive looks like a Viking. All you're going to do is have people go, okay, well, we already listened to MTG Goldfish and we already buy Magic products. We were already going to buy this set. Cool.
The fact that the marketing team thinks that metal and Vikings are one and the same thing, just because Vikings have beards and are aggressive, and therefore people that play metal with beards and play aggressive music must be the same thing. That in itself, I have an issue with, because it's a great, again, I get the concept.
But they've picked bands specifically that do write songs in this genre.
They have picked very safe, sanitized bands that...
Yeah, which is fair enough. You're not going to pick a controversial band because that's just not going to make you look good. But I listened to, like, I've watched these promos.
Yeah, me too.
And I've gone and listened to some of the songs of these bands, and a bunch of them are singing about dragons and dwarves and, killing things with axes and all that sort of stuff. Like, yeah, they may not actually be Vikings, but they're singing about stuff that's in this set. And this set, they said, is a metal set. it's not necessarily a Viking set. There's elves and all sorts of other stuff in there as well. So, but it is a metal themed set. So why wouldn't you then pair that with a bunch of metal bands who have a following all around the world and try and spread your brand to new people? So then we get new people into the game. So I like it. I can see how some people aren't a fan of it, but that's just marketing. Like that's a smart way to do it.
It's very on the nose, right? Like it's not very subtle. And you know,
and having you only have to watch.
There really is
the thing.
You only have to watch some of those episodes, some of those videos to go. Here is somebody reading from a script because they got paid to. There's no passion in it, and that is. And you get Danny Trejo. He's an actor, right? And he, you know, even if he has no idea what's going on, he's going to make you believe that he does, right? So
do you think Mark Waugh knows all about air conditioners and things like that when he's on the ads promoting those?
Well, that's Mark Taylor for one.
Whoever it is.
Yeah.
Mark Waugh does health insurance, doesn't he?
Yes.
Or is that Steve? I don't know. Whatever.
That's how ads work. You pay a high profile person and you get them on your ad and they talk about something they know nothing about, but you're getting people looking at that ad going, oh, hang on, I know that person. I recognise that person from that sport or whatever.
Those bands are saying, like the bands know that this is bad, right? You can see that they're doing it because their manager told them to. Mark Taylor's doing it because he wants a career after cricket and, you know, he's had media coaching. He's not just a dude who wants to, you know, bash stuff with sticks or shred his fretboard and, you know, bring his art to the world or her art to the world. It's too long of a bow to get these bands into too long of a bow. The bridge that they're trying to cross is too wide, and the delivery of there was cringy. Some of those videos I was cringing watching. Going,
a couple of them were a little bit cringy, but.
Yeah.
Like some of them I was actually really impressed with. Like the band sounded really cool and the way they were talking about stuff was like, that fits in perfectly.
And the bands are doing it because they're like, hey, there's like however many million Magic players out there that'll do exactly what you've done and will watch our videos and whatever.
There's also however many million people that are fans of theirs that are now potentially checking out Magic. So seems like smart marketing to me.
I think it's better for the bands than it is for Magic.
Yeah, possibly, but that's how you go. When you're a small fish, you target the bigger fish to help you increase your pool. So that's how it goes. So we might have to agree to disagree there and actually get into talking about some preview cards. But
I have one more thing. I think the most egregious thing out of all this is it's a metal set, but I mean we're not back in Mirrodin. What is going on here?
It's a different sort of metal.
Terrible. I'm sorry.
It's not weird, warped, crazy, broken metal.
new Phyrexia, anybody?
Yeah, no. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if we end up back there.
That'd be good.
Well, not next year, probably the year after, because I reckon we're about due. And I actually haven't experienced either of the Phyrexian sets or the Mirrodin sets in Standard, because I sort of started playing just as Mirrodin was rotating out, and then I was on a break when the new Phyrexia and that came out. So
yeah, I went to the pre-release for New Phyrexia, I think, and that was about it.
Yeah, actually, I might have done that too.
That was in Geelong.
We got Geelong. Yeah, that's right. And that was about the only time we played in 3 years. All right, well, let's have a look at some of these previews. So some of them are definitely very Viking themed and things like that. So, Cracker, have you got something you want to kick us off with?
Sure. Let's start with the most Nordic sounding one of Halvar, God of Battle. Wow. I got to say, sweet alternate art here.
Yeah,
with the Norse inspired frames. Check them out. But Halvar, God of the Battle, he's a god. And it says he's 2/2 white for a 4/4. Creatures you control that are enchanted or equipped have double strike. At the beginning of each combat, you may attach target aura or equipment attached to a creature you control to a target creature you control. Bit of a mouthful reading that out. That was wordy. Attach, if you don't know, is you get to move at, I mean, it doesn't matter so much here, but at instant speed for 0 cost in this particular case. But it is from something that is equipped already. So you don't get to move it from like something that's not equipped. It can't just be an artifact or equipment in this case that's just lying around. It's got to be on a creature already. But, I mean, there'll be other things to do. Interesting thing about Halvar, God of Battle, is it is a double-faced card or a modal card or whatever we call these things. And the other side is called Sword of the Realms, which is his sword, which you can see in the art. And it's 1 and a white for a legendary artifact equipment. And it says, equipped creature has +2/+0 and vigilance. And whenever equipped creature dies, return it to its owner's hand. Its equip cost is 1 and a white. What do we think about Halvar?
Straight into my equipment commander deck, for one.
Sure.
That's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I think I don't want to harp on to my previous point, but I think I've realised what my biggest issue is with this set is that the Scandinavian Viking folklore is amazing, and they've watered it down a little bit by attaching metal to it just for marketing reasons. We could have had a sweet Viking set, not a metal set, and I think I would have been happy. Anyway, I think this card fits in really well with the equipment payoffs that we've seen in the previous set, and we did say that when we looked at the previous set, going, there's not that critical mass of equipment. We just might get that. So I am looking forward to seeing some sort of red-white based mid-range equipment deck that can do some cool things. And this card, I'm particularly in older formats, potentially, and probably Commander, having a look at the living weapon mechanic, and because you can get some pretty good equipment that come in with, an effect. Yeah, like you can just, move Batterskull around and some of the others as well. So, because the equip costs are quite high, but you get, it's a creature when it comes in. So there's some space to explore there that I'm interested in. I don't know how good it is, but, it gets the creative juices going, which for a white creature or an equipment, creative juices don't often flow. They're normally pretty linear, where this, to its credit, opens up a few doors there. So I think they've hit the mark pretty well with this card.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, we assumed that there were going to be gods just based on the Norse theme and all that sort of stuff. Like, obviously there's a lot of mythology around that sort of area, so we kind of made that assumption that there would be gods, but we didn't know what form they would come in, because we've seen a few different types with the Armageddon gods and all that sort of stuff. The Theros ones as well, all different types, but these seem they're basically just a creature. Like, they're not indestructible or anything like that, which is interesting. They do have a god subtype though. The thing I like with this card is that, like, if you're playing, say you play 4 in your deck, you can play it as the creature side, and then when you draw the second copy, you can then play the equipment side of it, because they're different cards. They're named differently, and then you can attach this dude with his own sword and things like that. So
flavor win. The artifact is a legendary one as well. So if you draw the third one, you kind of go,
But yeah, that's just a cool way of doing it. So I'm tipping we will see more of these, like these double-faced gods that have, they're the god on one side and the equipment, whatever their special equipment is.
It's got cycle written all over it, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yep. I'm assuming there'll be a hammer of some sort and maybe
the red
staff.
one. The red one will have some sort of Thor-esque hammer.
Yeah. So, pretty cool. Chewy, what's taken your interest?
There's a few, and there's actually some like more casual ones that I am interested in, but I'd be remiss if the spike in me passed up on Pyre of Heroes, like new pod, right? It is that sort of Nordic, burial thing with the burial pyre. But Pyre of Heroes is a 2-mana artifact, 2 colorless, and you can pay 2, tap this artifact, sacrifice a creature, pardon me, search your library for a creature card that shares a creature type with the sacrificed creature, and has converted mana cost equal to 1 plus the creature's converted mana cost. Put that card into the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Activate this only as a sorcery. So it lets you go tribal. There is some contingency for that built into this set, and we'll talk about the reintroduction of changelings, I'm sure. But yeah, a 2-mana birthing pod that lets you tutor up creatures. Having a toolbox creature deck in standard seems pretty cool. We can have a look at what creature types are out there. There's a whole bunch of warriors from the previous set and this set, and jump onto Scryfall and do a search by creature type, and you can find some potential homes for this. I think it's going to be a deck. It'll be a deck in standard for sure.
Yeah, if we see some sort of tribal creature deck where you get a lot of enters the battlefield triggers on your creatures, then you can just sort of go up the chain with your pyre and go from one creature to the next and end up, I don't know, wherever it is that you want to end up with your chain of things like you would in Pod.
Well, if you've got Halvar's equipment on your creature, you can sack your creature, go and get a creature upgraded and return that creature to your hand.
Yeah, return to your hand. Yep.
Yeah. So
yeah, a few different things like that.
Yeah, so there's a lot of space to work with there as well.
Yeah.
So again, like the creative juices, and that's something with a lot of these cards have that potential. It's like, this is potentially really powerful, and there's a puzzle here I really want to solve and to make this work. So that's definitely where I'm at whenever I am reading these preview cards, because it's like, oh, there's a thing, and then you start to join these dots, and you become like the all the newspaper clippings with the string on your wall, and that's me trying to build decks out of this set. So, yeah.
I wonder whether it will reach back into Modern, and you could play it in 5-color humans.
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't paid enough attention to Modern lately to.
No, but
to know.
I mean, or like there are a bunch of, Elves tend to have its own engines as far as tutoring up cards and things, particularly in like Legacy and things. But goblins, historic goblins, go find your whatever you want.
The only thing I think with it is you have to get a creature with converted mana cost equal to 1 plus that creature's converted mana cost, so it's not equal or less. So you have to go up the chain. You can't just go and get another creature.
That's how Pod works.
That's how Pod works as well.
I know. Yeah. It just kind of limits. It means you have to have, and so like a deck like Humans in Modern, I don't think like you've got Thalia, 3-mana Thalia, I think, and that's basically it.
Sure, but you could go
Reflect
bigger.
the Mage.
Yeah.
No, he's saying your curve ends at 3.
Yeah.
But you've got ones, like you've got Champions of the Parish or whatever that you could upgrade to 2-drops or whatever. Like you don't have to just keep going from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. You can just go 1 to 2, 1 to 2, 1 to 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just upgrade your battlefield. And there is there's some sideboard cards that had 4-mana ones, like when there was the white creature that gave all your creatures a protection from a colour when they got played. It was the kind of the Mirror Breaker as well, but we could see a different, more mid-range version of the Humans deck. So rather than being a beatdown deck, it could be more of a mid-range deck. Maybe like a Hate Bears style deck might see something like this. You
play it in Eldrazi.
Yep. Probably.
You can sack your Matter Reshaper and go and get a Thought-Knot Seer.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's some pretty good value.
It's competing.
And go and get your Reality Smasher.
Yeah, it's competing against Maze Mind Tome in that slot, so would require some testing to see if it's better than that, because that card's pretty good in the Eldrazi deck. But but I think that's a good spot for it potentially.
What about you, Shorty? What have you seen that you like the look of?
Well, I guess we probably should talk about the headline card, I guess, is probably from the set, which is the Kaya, the Inexorable. So this is the Kaya Planeswalker. So we've seen Kaya in a couple of sets previously. And this one is 3 white black, so 5 CMC for 5 loyalty Planeswalker. +1, put a ghost form counter on up to 1 target non-token creature. It gains, when this creature dies or is put into exile, return it to its owner's hand and create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. Seems pretty good. -3, exile target non-land permanent. Also good. And -7, you get an emblem with, at the beginning of your upkeep, you may cast a legendary spell from your hand, from your graveyard, or from among cards you own in exile without paying its mana cost. Also pretty good. So the +1, I'm tipping the majority of the time you're going to be targeting one of your creatures, and if you're teeing this up with something like the Pyre we were just looking at, you can sacrifice that creature and get it back in your hand and get a 1/1 spirit, as well as getting the creature that you go and search your library for. So that seems pretty good. -3, exiling a non-land permanent. It's just straight up, doesn't matter what permanent it is except for a land. We're going to exile that. Is pretty good because that still leaves your Kaya on 2 loyalty. So that's pretty solid. That's what you want in a, say potentially like an Esper control deck. You want to be able to deal with whatever the most problematic permanent is for good, and putting it into exile is pretty good with that. And getting that -7 is not that hard. Like, two turns of plussing and you're at -7, and then you can actually -7 it, and then the Kaya will die, but on your next upkeep you can then just cast it straight back out of your graveyard for free. So as well as anything else you want to cast out of your hand, your graveyard, or from exile. So I think this one's going to be pretty interesting. I don't know if we'll see a white-black controlling type deck, or if it will just be an Esper, which we've already got. But yeah, it seems like a pretty solid Planeswalker.
It's an engine, right? In itself, yeah. It's pretty self-contained in that, and like it's 5 mana. It's not too expensive for standard. Like we've seen 6 mana Planeswalkers have an impact in standard. So yeah, I think and it ticks all the boxes, right? When you look at a Planeswalker, you want it to be able to come down and protect itself. And it does that in a really good way. It just exiles anything, as well as being an engine. So seems pretty gas.
Mm.
What do you think, Cracker?
Yeah, I like
Casting stuff from graveyards. I know
it's got some good synergy with Escape as well, where you're exiling things.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Kai's always dealt in that space, right, where she's bringing things, dealing damage based on exile or exiling cards out of graveyards and then getting an effect from it. So, nice continuation of her style. But, I think, I don't know, hopefully we see something else. Like, it'd be interesting if there was more of like a self-mill kind of theme, or, just we haven't seen any of that for a little while in Standard, where, you're getting a lot of value from directly just, trying to dump 20 or 30 cards in the graveyard. But
yeah,
there's a lot of payoff. Stitcher's Supplier was the last card that I can think of that really lent in that direction.
Yeah. There was definitely a theme a set or two ago with self-mill but it was none of the cards were constructed worthy, but it was a solid limited archetype.
The Golgari theme with the undergrowth, was it? Was that the mechanic?
Yeah, but that never made an impact on constructed. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't all that good. I think the only real card that got played from that was the
Glowspore Shaman.
No, there was a spider that came in and fought something with flying, and it got +1/+0 for the number of creatures in your graveyard.
Sure.
I can't even remember what it was called. That's how good it was.
But from a limited perspective, it was solid. But you've got to get self-mill. If self-mill exists in this set, which we haven't seen the full set, so we might, but we haven't seen anything yet. But you also have to open a mythic to make it work. So
you've also got to plus this 3 times, plus it twice to get there. Yeah,
it seems good. I think it's a good card. It's well cost. It doesn't seem inherently broken in half.
No.
So I mean that's good start.
Yeah. Do you think? Yeah, not broken. Okay, we can accept that. I think this card will potentially be really impactful or do nothing in the format, and it's not this card's fault if it does nothing. It's just that it doesn't have the support around it, right?
Yeah.
So it just needs some cards to help its own engine. All
right, Cracker, give us another one.
All right, let's talk about Changelings. So there is a card called Realm Walker.
Yes.
Which is 2 and a green for a creature shapeshifter. It is a changeling, and this card is every creature type. So you'll see if you look through the spoiler, there's a bunch of dwarf synergies, there's elf synergies, there's giant synergies. Guess what? This thing is all of those things. It says that
this is a mechanic this was first in Lawn Block, the changeling that we saw, and it's been in, I think it's been in a couple of the core sets since then, but
we haven't seen it for a while.
No, but yeah, if you've never played with it before, it is interesting to play with.
It's strange. It was also in was that Bitter Blossom? What set was that?
Yeah, that was
with
Lawn
the
Block.
fairies. Yeah, because you could use that. Yeah,
it was Mutavault was a changeling.
Yes. So look, yeah, it when you see things that are everything, like every creature type, or that means pay attention. So this is a rare, is worth pointing out. It's a 2/3. It also has a bunch of other text. So it says, as Realm Walker enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast creature spells of the chosen type from the top of your library. I mean, powerful effect, right?
Card advantage, right? Yeah.
It's almost like Future Sight. No, not quite. But it's that kind of effect.
It's also a whole lot cheaper and in green. So
it is. It's actually it's closer to like Vizier of the Menagerie if you were playing. I mean, I know you guys were a few sets ago in the like Hour of Devastation.
Yeah,
Amonkhet block.
Amonkhet block.
Yeah, so that was like a 4-mana 3/4 that let you cast creatures from the top of your deck, and you could look at the card at any time. So look, honestly, the ability to peek the top of your deck should not be underlooked. That's actually really powerful, particularly if you have a way of manipulating it. Yeah, if you've got a way of scrying cards to the bottom or something. We were talking about Maze Mine Tome before. Gas. If you know, like you just get extra info, so you don't have to draw that card in the dark. You can know what's going on.
Even things that let you shuffle, like the Fable Passage.
Fable Passage.
Yeah, so you can go, once you've got your fourth land, you can choose not to sack it right away if you've got the card you're looking for on top. And yeah, it's access to more information, right? And access to more information means more informed decisions, which probably means you're going to make the right decision more often, which translates into game win percentage ultimately somewhere down the line, right?
I mean, if you're good, for me, it just gives me more opportunities to stuff up because I've got more information to make wrong choices with, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Look, hard to say. Obviously, we've got like 28 cards of the set. Who knows what'll actually be good. But there's a bunch of elf stuff here. Obviously, being in green leans towards that. So I will be keeping my eye on what other changelings we have. And, there's like Magda, which I assume we'll talk about.
Yep. The other thing to point out with the changeling is that it counts for your party mechanic stuff. So we had that.
Good pickup. Yeah.
We had that in the last set with the party mechanic. So this doesn't count for every party member. It just counts as one of the party members, but it can help fill in those gaps. So
same as Pack Beast.
Yeah. So you're gonna find those random cards that the first time you looked at with the party mechanic, it was like, it's not good enough. But when you can start triggering and getting that party count up much easier with a bunch of shapeshifters in your deck, that's going to help. And then we also have the D&D set coming out towards the end of the year, towards the end of next year, which it's pretty safe to assume we're going to see the party mechanic in that set again. That seems a pretty obvious one. So having access to these changelings just sort of floating around in the sets is going to be pretty good.
Yep. It's good. It's a bit like the equipment theme that we touched on earlier when we were talking about the first card. Yeah. Where it's like, this seems really good, but it's not cutting the mustard. But it's because it doesn't have the support. So once that support comes, then, even, cards from a set ago or 2 sets ago become interesting again. And players that have purchased those, all of a sudden, they can play with those cards again. So
Wizards did a really good job of that recently with the vampire set, right? Yes. So the vampires out of Ixalan kind of weren't quite there, and then they printed Sorin, and all of a sudden vampires is like a tier 1 deck for the last 3 months of that standard before all the Ixalan vampires rotated out. So I expect we'll see something similar with the party mechanic, given when the D&D theme set will come out, and then rotation will be, I think, close to that as well. Anyway.
Yeah, they'll all be in standard together for a time.
Yes.
And the beauty of timing it that way is if they're too good, then they're only there for a couple of months. They're not there for 2 years. If they print these things too close together, then they can end up with, a problem, and we might end up with bannings. But if they do it like this, might end up with bannings,
What's that like? We've never had bannings before. That'll be a new experience.
Not in standard.
Yeah, no, not at all. 9 cards or something in the moment? Crazy. Yeah. Anyway, I think this card will definitely see play in some tribal action, and it looks like we've got some tribal decks on the way with the party, as Shorty said. So yeah, this seems like a nice little piece of glue to hold those sort of decks together.
Cracker, you mentioned Magda. So Magda Brazen Outlaw. It's 1 and a red for a 2/1 legendary creature Dwarf Berserker. This one has the alternate art as well. The alternate art's kind of sort of like the storybook cards that they did for Eldraine, but yeah, it definitely has that Norse or whatever theme border around it. Looks very cool. There's some cool art on those. I'm looking forward to seeing those. So this one is other dwarves you control get +1/+0. So there's that the creature types, lords and things getting around, like we were just talking about.
Pumps up your changelings.
Whenever a dwarf you control becomes tapped, create a treasure token, very on theme with the dwarves, and sacrifice 5 treasures, search your library for an artifact or dragon card, put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. So, interesting. I mean, you've got to have a way to tap your dwarves, or you're just attacking with them and creating treasures. But yeah, being able to sack 5 treasures, and I'm assuming that we're going to see plenty of other cards in this set that also create treasures. Do we have anything in standard at the moment that makes treasures? I know there is in historic, but I can't remember.
Something that makes
standard.
a gold token, but I don't think there's anything that makes treasure.
No, there's no treasures at the moment.
Yeah. But yeah, being able to sack 5 treasures, which is probably not that hard to get, and being able to go and get some sort of funky artifact, maybe an Embercleave, potentially, or a dragon, if there's some crazy big dragons with some good Enters the Battlefield triggers, is pretty cool. So, and if there happens to be a bunch of dwarf synergies going on, well then, here we go, we've got a dwarf lord, so yeah, could be cool.
Hey, play this in 7 dwarfs.
Sure. Immediately under that card is a thing called Gilded Assault Cart, which is 1 red for a vehicle. So you want to tap your dwarves without having to send them in.
Okay. Yep.
This thing is
Crewing
a 5/1
vehicles.
with trample, crew, right? It means you tap a creature with power 2 in this case, or any number of creatures. So you can actually overpay for memory.
You can.
Yeah,
Any number of creatures,
okay.
yeah.
So if you wanted to, and then it says sacrifice 2 treasures, return Gilded Assault Cart from your graveyard to your hand, which is pretty great.
I'm going bigger. I'm going bigger with this card. I think Tinker, but in Modern, where you've got all of those ways to make treasure. You've got treasure map and everything that comes with it, and then you just go and get Blightsteel Colossus in Modern. So it's like a 2-mana Tinker. You play treasures and you play good cards that create treasures, and then you play this guy, sack your treasures right away, Blightsteel Colossus, or end step Blightsteel Colossus.
Because, it is instant speed, so... Yeah, okay. I did see something on Twitter today, a combo for Commander. I didn't read it to figure out exactly what it was, but yeah, I think there is a combo that you can do already with this in Commander that's... I don't know if it was an infinite thing, but it sounded pretty broken.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right, Chewy, what else do you got for us?
Angels. Everybody who's ever tried to build an Angels Commander deck's frothing at this deck because there's lots of them. But I think there's one that I hope my opponents don't play against me in Limited, but one that, depending on how the format shapes up, and it looks like there's going to be a lot of creatures, so traditional control decks may come back. And I'm talking, some counter spells, some sweepers, some card draw, and then, playing some number of ways to win. And a 6-mana 4/5, you kind of go, But Valkyrie Harbinger is at 6-mana 4/5 for double white. Flying lifelink at the beginning of each end step. If you gained 4 or more life this turn, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying and vigilance. So if we are playing, creature decks running against each other with tribal synergies and such.
Worth pointing out, this card isn't actually in the main set.
It's not.
Nope.
Okay.
So it'll be legal in Standard, but it's going to be in a supplemental product. Sorry,
Okay.
I just thought I'd...
Yeah, no, good to... Okay, but it is standard legal, sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
The Mythic Spoiler didn't do a clear job of pointing that out, but that's okay. It's a traditional control finisher in the realms of, Baneslayer Angel and Sarah Angel and such. And so some things have to line up in the format for that to be playable, especially, in a format with Kaya and things like that. But yeah, if things do go that way, then this card is a really solid finisher against decks that are trying to turn creatures sideways and deal 20 against you. So, and there's some other synergies that go with other cards in the set that, lean towards a theme of that with, Rampage of the Valkyries, which is a 3 white and a black for an enchantment that says...
I love the art on this card. It looks amazing.
Sweet. Yeah, I want it in foil for sure. When Rampage of the Valkyries enters the battlefield, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying and vigilance. So it's a 5-mana 4/4 flying vigilance. Solid. Whenever an angel you control dies, each other player sacrifices a creature. So that is a pretty sweet card in and of itself. And it's an uncommon. This is kind of being, trying to keep an eye on Limited in this as well.
Limited build around for sure.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be an archetype. And there's also a 3-mana 2/2 that makes angels cheaper, right? So, which is also an uncommon. So that'll go into a lot of people's commander decks, absolutely. But, there's a theme there, whether or not, a constructed deck, Angel Tribal could ever be a thing. Probably
there's a 2-mana Angel there as well, Youthful Valkyrie, 1 and a white for a 1/3 flyer. Whenever another Angel enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on it. So there's enough, we don't often see cheap Angels, so they're usually the 4 and 5 mana. And we've already seen one that's only 2 mana, so there may be something there to actually fill out a curve, and you can potentially build an actual Angel deck.
And you can top that off with what's the land, the mythic land from the last set that makes 2 4/4s?
Yep, is that the double faced?
Yeah, the card whose name
that one.
Can't remember. Yeah, played it last night when I was streaming Cube, but. Yeah, it's I don't know. It might be a bit too cute and not actually good for standard, but I think it's cool to see a really loved creature type getting some new cards injected just from Wizards have conflicting values with player bases. You have your spiky tournament players, and then you've got commander players, which vary from uber casual to spiky themselves, but there are a lot of the player base that just, want to play those Magic fundamentals with, they want a dragon deck, they want an angel deck, or whatever it might be, and they have years of enjoyment out of that because, Magic's a fun game and you can do cool stuff. So, yeah, breathing new life into those themed style decks, I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Attracts new players.
Certainly does. Cracker, you got anything else?
Sure do. Sagas. Sagas are back, which is awesome because I love them.
Yeah, they're very cool card design, Sagas.
Yeah, we were all super impressed when they got put into, it was a Dominaria, right? It was the first time we saw them, and they've just kind of kept them running. So this one is called Showdown of the Scouts. It is 2 red-white for an enchantment saga with sweet art, because they always have sweet vertical art. So chapter 1 is exile the top 4 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play those cards. Okay, seems good. That includes playing lands, which is one of the worthwhile things to note there. Chapters 2 and 3 are whenever you cast a spell this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. I don't know what the home is for this. I saw someone in Discord suggesting maybe this could be like a curve topper for Feather. Maybe Feather could be a thing again. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, nice. Yeah.
But it's, interesting.
The first place I went with this before I realised the card was banned in every format was Fires of Invention as a reload. So unfortunate that you don't get to see these 2 4-mana enchantments play together, but I like this as a curve topper even in a just an aggressive red-white deck. So it's got a home there, I think.
This effect is not unprecedented. It's almost like a mini experimental frenzy.
Yeah,
right.
Or like a bigger light up the stage.
Yeah, exactly. You get a burst of card draw, you get some value, and then you turn your guys that were a little bit small into something that hopefully can just let you punch through the last few points of damage. And
it's a sort of card, even if you don't have the creatures on the battlefield when you cast this card,
you get to draw them.
You're effectively drawing 4 cards, and then that second turn you get to cast them all, and then you start getting getting all the extra triggers and getting all the extra counters on those creatures. So
yep, draw 4 cards in Boros is pretty strong.
Yeah. Like you stuck in top decking mode because your opponent has wiped your board, and you hit this, you get to look 4 cards deeper and hopefully find some gas and start chaining some things together.
Yep, pretty sweet. The only other card that cycle of cards that I want to point out here is the completing the cycle of the pathways, which means important. We have some pretty good mana without we don't end up with a shockland format where everyone can just play 4 colors without really getting punished. Like, these aren't as powerful as that, but they do allow us to cast our spells. So, yeah, I don't mind them. I think they're a good design, and finishing the cycle's a good thing. Yeah,
it was a bit weird that they printed 6 of them in the previous set, and it was like, why are we missing 4? But here's the rest of them here, and not just good for standard, but good for historic, and I believe they get played a fair bit in Pioneer as well. Modern, not so much. Modern, you've got your fetch shock mana base, but yeah, definitely Pioneer and historic. It's great to have the rest of these and fill the set out for the ones that have been missing.
They're unexciting, but necessary.
Yeah, Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it would have been pretty tilting if they hadn't put them in.
Yeah. Wonder if we'll see Painlands again anytime.
Yeah, I was speculating that we were going to see them in a recent set, but that never happened.
Yeah,
I'd like Painlands. I think.
Yeah, they're good
You
cards.
could put them in a core set, man.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe we'll see them.
Feels like a good rare cycle for a core set.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
You can get rid of that white-bordered chivalry, Shorty.
No, never. That would require me to have a paper tournament to go and play to actually bust that Shivan Reef out again.
Soon.
Yeah, hopefully next year. All right, I think that'll do us for previews. So yeah, we've had a small amount of previews, but there'll be more this week. Probably by the time you listen to this episode, there'll be a few more that we won't have had a chance to talk about, and then. Yeah, we'll get a whole bunch. I'm not sure exactly how many they're doing over the Christmas break, but they tend to fire them up pretty quickly at the start of the year, and we'll get a whole bunch through there. And yeah, the set releases on the 5th of February, so not that long until we've got new Magic cards coming into this set. So pretty exciting. It'll be cool to see what this set actually does. Yeah, the other thing we were just going to sort of talk about tonight is, I guess, the year that we've had. Like we've already done twice this year. You know, we had our 1 year anniversary and we had our 50th episode. So we've kind of done a fair bit of reflecting. But what stands out to you guys as things you want to mention from this year that we haven't already talked a heap about?
It's been an interesting year for sure. It's been an interesting year for a lot of different reasons. It's been, for me, if I just think about the year of Magic and the way I've interacted with the game has vastly changed, obviously, because we can't have paper tournaments. And yeah, it's been really challenging to stay engaged with the game a lot of the time, if I'm honest. Like, I love going to my local game store and playing tournaments and going to PTQs and things like that. It's been a way that I've interacted with the game for a really long time. We've been really lucky with our community to be able to, replace that feel with leagues and such. But yeah, it's been a really challenging year. It's been also, a year of bannings, which has probably dampened a lot of people's enjoyment of the game as well. And we saw that with the last league that we ran. There was like a 2-week period at the start of the league where no one wanted to play any matches because they were like, well, Omnath's going to get banned. I don't want to play any more games until I know what the format actually looks like. So that's a bit of unfortunate timing. But what I have really loved, and, as I said, we've done that with our leagues, but the online play in Magic has, been invested in. And we've seen things like, Red Bull, Channel Fireball and Star City, move to a more online platform. That means that, those big events, time zone notwithstanding, have been more accessible to Australia. So I've enjoyed that. And, Wizards had this I want to be an esport thing going on, and it's expedited that development. They've got a ways to go. They're not there yet, I don't think, but I've enjoyed seeing that and, being our little, 0.5% contributor to that overall has been really good. So I've enjoyed that, the transition to online play as a, if Magic, they want Magic to survive in that, against, the other digital games, then this year has been good for that particular space. Bad for other reasons, bannings, etc., but good for the growth of that. And, an example is, we all work from home, and things like WebEx or Microsoft Teams have developed 5 years of their roadmap in 1 year. Magic maybe hasn't got 5 years along, but has gotten more than they would have roadmapped for 2020. So, yeah, I think that's good. And that just means more Magic availability. So paper tournaments will come back in time, but we'll also have higher level online events that people can also engage with. So it just means more access to Magic for everyone. So I think that's great. It's been a painful year, but I think at the end of it, we'll come out with maybe even some sort of organised play. It should be good.
Don't get your hopes up.
A bit of a long-winded answer there to say that, Magic Online or online Magic, because Magic Online and online Magic are different things, but online Magic's become there's seen a lot of innovation, which is, necessity breeds innovation, and we've seen that. It's good.
Yep. Cracker, what do you reckon?
The events we've run. We kind of bookended the year, I think, really nicely with the bushfire event we ran right at the start of the year. Remember we had bushfires at the start of this year?
Oh, yeah, that was a thing.
Destroyed like millions of acres of
half of
land.
Australia.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun. And then obviously the envy we just had, which was unreal. And just getting to make a bunch of new friends. There's been a whole bunch of people that have joined in, and you just kind of get to hang out with them daily, just on Discord and stuff, and chatting to people. It's just been sweet. Love it.
Yeah.
Yep. What about you, Shorty? Is it just been editing endless hours of Chewy's or that's been your highlight, right?
Yeah, definitely. I'll just leave those in there just for you, Chewy.
You can tell you're out of practice.
Yeah.
You got to get a little bit of vibrato is the key. Yeah.
Yep. Look, this year for me has been, compared to last year, like we started the podcast in July last year, so it was only 5 months of doing this stuff last year, and then a whole year this year, so it's been a lot of work, but it's been a lot of fun, and just seeing the growth that we've had has been amazing, and all the events that we've been able to put on, and just makes me super excited for next year, and seeing, this time next year, what are we saying about how much we've grown, or hopefully we've grown. Hopefully we're not next year going, okay, that's the end of the Magic Beans podcast, we've had enough. I don't think so. I think we'll be doing this for a while, but yeah, that's been pretty cool. But I think sort of similar to what you said, Chewy, the way I interact with Magic has massively changed this year, and I've played so much more Magic this year than I have in previous years, just because everything has moved so much onto digital play, which is definitely good. But as we experienced when we got together, when was that, last week at Chris's place, and we drafted your cube a couple of times, that was something that we really missed. And, we all sort of, when it was down to half a dozen of us left at the end of the night and we're all sitting around just laughing our guts out, we all had that same sense of like, okay, this is what we've missed. We've missed actually getting together with people and playing games of Magic and that actual like face-to-face social interaction. So
we've had Magic, we hadn't had the gathering, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's been bandied about a lot this year, but it's definitely something that has been missed. But yeah, getting to play the volume of Magic that we're able to play now is pretty cool. And like you said, with sort of the organised play thing, if you look at the way we interacted with tournaments last year, like I didn't play Magic Online, you didn't play Magic Online tournaments as such. You weren't playing in the trials or whatever they're called on Magic Online. Cracker, you weren't doing either of those either. So we weren't playing, we'd play a bit of Arena, but there weren't digital events that we could actually play in. We were playing one paper event every 3 months or something like that, and that was kind of it. Whereas now, literally every weekend or almost every night of the week, you can actually be playing a tournament that has prizes, cash and various prizes and store credits and different things like that, or a tournament that's actually leading into Wizards' organised play structure and potentially getting you to, the Kaldheim Championship that'll be coming up in a few months, that sort of thing, where you can potentially get into the Rivals League or the MPL or whatever, and that's just happening all the time now, which 12 months ago just didn't exist. So that's pretty cool, and like you said, Chewy, Wizards have probably had to fast track their plan. It wouldn't be 5 years, but yeah, probably 2 years worth of fast tracking they've had to do, and it's had some issues along the way, but I think they've done a pretty good job, and I think Magic's in a pretty cool place at the moment, so it'd be interesting to see where they go next year and where we can go with it. So I ended up with a long-winded answer as well. How's that?
Spending too much time with me. Virtually.
Yes. All right, so yeah, I guess that's probably going to be it from us for this year. So sort of looking forward to next year, we will have a few weeks off. The next few weeks we've got Christmas and then New Year's, so it's unlikely that we're going to record anything. And then we may get something out in that first week of January. We won't make any promises. We'll see how we go. So you probably have a couple of weeks break from the Magic Beans, but you can go back and listen to some old episodes or things like that and, get your Magic Beans fix. So I'm sure one of us will probably be streaming at some point over that time. We'll still be active on Discord.
Holiday Cube.
Yeah. I think, you and Cracker are planning to do some holiday cubing together, hopefully on stream as well. And,
that's the goal.
We'll all be catching up over Christmas and playing some actual cube, I think, which should be good.
Yes.
We will have maybe on our first cast of the year, if not, it'll definitely be the second cast. We will be outlining our Magic Beans tournament series for 2021 and all the events that you're going to be able to play in and all that sort of stuff and our sort of plan for the year. So stay tuned for that. No details just yet. We'll keep that all secret for now. But it should be a good year. There'll be lots of stuff for you to be involved in, and plenty of Magic being played and plenty of content going out there. So the last couple of things is just all the heaps of giveaways that are going on at the moment. So as we mentioned at the start of the cast with Josh and Pat's, go and check out their giveaway that they've got going on for the Commander Legends boxes. Go and join the group and follow the instructions on the pinned post there. Cracker, we've still got our 31 Days of Christmas. Do you want to give people a rundown on that?
Absolutely. So it's running until the 1st of January because America. But there's a bunch of different content creators that are tied with Magic that are donating prizes and giving them away, including us. And there's a link in the show notes to enter that competition. We're ahead of Orcs Head Magic at the moment, but they're from New Zealand, so we need to make sure that we absolutely crush them. It's important to me. But anyway, so yeah, look, there's a bunch of stuff that's available, and Wizards have really stepped up. So we're giving away a Commander deck, but Wizards are putting up like deck boxes and play mats and a full foil set, which is insane. So one of every card from, I think it was...
It's War of the Spark or Ikoria.
There you go. Which are both, man...
That's huge.
Good stuff in there. Spark. Can I get a full set of all the Planeswalkers? Foils? I did enter myself. See if I can win.
As did I.
Yes.
All of my children are also entered.
Yeah, my wife has entered as well. Look, this is really great. And entering doesn't just enter you for the chance to win what the beans are giving away. It's for every content creator that's around there. So we will be doing a video and releasing that information, as we said, on New Year's Day.
Yeah.
So check us out. We'll tweet out when that goes up and who the lucky winner is.
Yeah, we do have to mention that the prizes from Wizards are freely given by Wizards. So there is no sponsorship deals with us or anything like that. It is just Wizards giving away stuff for free. So yeah, definitely check that out. A whole bunch of booster packs as well. So yeah, the link for that's b.link/magicbeanscast, or you can find that in the show notes as well. And the last thing we're running at the moment, Chewy, is the survey that's still going.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to run that up to the end of the year as well. Basically, a lot of things happened by accident this year.
As we were just talking about with Wizards fast-tracking things, we did the same thing.
Exactly right. And I think we did pretty well under the circumstances, but we want to hear from our listeners, our little community that we've got going. What do you want to see? What do you want to stop seeing? And,
do you want Cracker to be the host instead of me?
Yeah, absolutely. And
no.
Cracker wants to be the host, I think. But we'd love to hear from you. As Shorty said, we are actively planning next year. We've got a tournament series and a whole bunch of other stuff that's happening, and there are some decision points in that planning that we need to make, and it's really important that we get feedback from the people that consume our podcast and people that play in our leagues, etc. We want to make sure that we are moving in the right direction. And as a little bit of cream, a little bit of mayo on that,
man, not at the same time.
Not at the same time.
Cream and mayo, no thanks.
Oh, gross.
I had wasabi aioli tonight with my wedges at dinner. It was incredible.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah,
that's
really
not cream and mayo.
No, so maybe I'll just say a little bit of wasabi aioli from now on.
All right.
So it's a Zendikar Rising expedition pack. We're giving away to one lucky person who takes the 5 minutes or so to fill out our survey. So you can find that. It'll be in the show notes and it's in our Discord as well. So, 5 minutes of your time, potential, Zendikar.
Foil Scalding Tarn Expedition. Guaranteed.
Yes. There'll also be an asterisk in the show notes.
Yes. Not actually guaranteed.
Not actually guaranteed.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. We'd actually need a cracker to come in with the low.
I was trying to think of something like a bunch of stuff to say.
Yeah. All good. All right. Yeah. So fill out our survey. That'll be great. Thank you.
Yep. It would be greatly appreciated. All right. Well, I think that's going to be it. This is going to be it for the end of the year for us. So, massive thank you to everybody who's listened and watched and, chatted to us in our Discord and just been involved in our community. It's been an awesome year. We've had an absolute blast and it's been a pleasure to be doing all this stuff for all you people out there. So, really looking forward to next year and continuing getting bigger and better. So, make sure when you're, having your family dinners and your Christmas catch-ups and that sort of stuff, tell all your friends, get them all onto the beans. Even if they don't play Magic, just get them downloading anyway, get those numbers up because that makes us look good, which means we can do bigger and better things for everyone out there. So, should be pretty good. Thanks to you guys on the cast here. It's been a fun year, and I look forward to spending next year talking to you guys every week as well, as we tend to do. If you want to be involved in the different things that we do, then the best place for that is to jump in our Discord, as we've mentioned a few times already. The link for that is in the show notes, as you can always find that there in the show notes every week. You can buy some Sweet Magic Beans gear, and we do have a special Christmas discount on at the moment for our merch store. Get some hoodies and t-shirts and things like that, so go and check that out. Again, the link's in the show notes. Go and check out Josh and Pat's MTG Bazaar, their daily auctions, as we mentioned at the start of the episode. We are on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. Just search any of those places for Magic Beans Cast or Magic Beans Podcast, and you'll find us on there. If you want to find me on Twitter, I am at Peace Inc. Chewy, you are?
At Chewy MTG.
And Cracker?
At Joel Hill _.
Very good. All right, well, that'll do us for this year. Thank you again for listening, and we will see you all next time.
Have a great Christmas.